Hello, welcome to this talk on an introduction to wildlife recording, or biblical recording as it's sometimes called. I'm Fiona Greenwold. I'm the Engagement Officer for ERIC Northeast, and ERIC stands for Environmental Records Information Centre. A bit more about who we are and what we do in the talk. So without further ado, I'm just going to say happy Eider Duck Day, and I'll stop my video and move on to screen sharing, and we'll get on with the presentation. There we go. So as I say, I'll chat a bit about ERIC and what it is. We'll look at what a wildlife record actually is, how the data is used, and how you can make a difference. So ERIC is part of a network of record centres spread over most of Britain, with a fantastic area here in Northeast England. Our remit goes right up to the Scottish border, down the Cumbrian border, along the North Yorkshire border, and it actually goes 10 kilometres out into the North Sea. So a really great area of the country to be involved in, and especially for eider ducks. We're a small team. There are 4 of us. Paul is the main coordinator and he keeps us on track. Anne and Irena deal with the data coming in and the data going out and just checking it's all standardized. I'm the engagement officer, and normally we've got a team of fantastic volunteers. At the moment, we're all working from home, so that's on hold. And we would usually be in a Great North Museum, Hancock, which is a super setting to be based in. We're friendly, so do get in touch with us. So what is a wildlife record? It's basically a documented occurrence of a living organism, and it needs 4 main pieces of information to be counted as a valid record. It needs to be identified, so we need what it is, the species name, who recorded it, when it was seen, and where it was seen. Those 4 bits of information need to be attached to your observation for it to be valid and usable. Often, traditionally, if you like, maybe things would come in to us on bits of paper and books and notebooks. You know, people see something out in the field, they note it down. Maybe in a wildlife hide, there are blackboards often where people record what they see. So a hard copy can be made, and then it would have to get input into the database. Nowadays, with recording apps that people can have on their phones, information can go straight into databases and on different surveys. So there's sort of a shortcut available nowadays, but sort of traditionally it would go around the route of a hard copy and then input into the database. Because all the records are standardized with those 4 bits of information, can then be searched and compared, and we can pull out information with different criteria. Nowadays as well, there are modern mapping sort of techniques using shape files where we can search for information within particular areas. And we can also do searches within search. So for example, we could search and pull out the data of all the amphibians within a particular area and even a date range. And obviously we can search for species and searching by grid squares as well. But it's all, the technology now makes it a lot easier to search, explore and use. And this information is used by lots of different people. It's used by ecologists when there are planning applications. Big uses for biodiversity and conservation projects, so that the efforts are targeted to have the use and most effect and most efficiency. Academic research projects ask us for information, and government agencies have asked us for information as well. A little example is the Bug Life Beelines project, where the data was used to spot a species. We actually record habitat data as well. So that could be analysed to spot the best ways of joining up similar habitats. When a habitat becomes fragmented, it's much more vulnerable, and the species that are associated with it are in a much more precarious position. In this project, those pollinator habitats were joined up, and that just strengthened the whole habitat network and therefore the chance of those species surviving. And it was using the efforts of the project to be most efficient and have the most. And what should we record? Everything, really. Lots of people think we might just want rare or unusual things, but 50 years ago, nobody was that worried about hedgehogs or sparrows, and their populations have massively declined. So it's really important that we're recovering common species. And it's a bit like you're sort of creating a running baseline, and it just makes all that information makes it sort of comparable. And you can see how things are changing and maybe spot changes quickly and get some intervention in to stop further declines. So all living organisms, from diatoms to macrofauna, are important, and just the more information we've got, the better. That just gives a bigger picture and a more complete picture of what we've got and what's out there. So you might be lucky and see something rare, or it might be everyday things that you see, but they're all important. Not just the species themselves, evidence, field signs count. Molehill didn't get created by itself. So if you see a molehill, that's evidence of a mole or moles, and that would count as a record. The 4 bits of information still need to be associated with that: what it is, who saw it, when it was seen, and where it was seen. But they all count as evidence of species being present in an area at a particular time, so long as those bits of information are with them. And the data comes from all sorts of places. There are lots of naturalist groups and societies or community groups interested in particular taxa, and they send their records in. We get information from formal studies through wildlife organisations and formal surveys, but lots of individuals contribute to the database, and they make a difference. I was reading recently in the State of Nature report that the citizen science, sort of volunteer recording is worth £20.5 million per annum to the British economy. And there are over 70,000 volunteers involved. And when you look at how public sector expenditure has declined since 2008, 2009, the volunteer recording is really, really important. Much as probably most of us would love to see more money spent on biodiversity and conservation, at the moment, the citizen science is really contributing to to what we know about nature and the survey work. So this Eider Aware project is, citizen science is really important. You can make a difference joining in with the Eider Aware project. And anybody can help their local wildlife by recording it. I don't know about you, but even in my living room, I'll find the odd spider. I can spot that and send it in. So, but just looking out your window on a short walk, joining in with a public event. But if you get into it, you might join some formal recording schemes, and with the Eider Aware project would be a great way of getting started and engaging with helping some of our local wildlife, gathering information about it. And what do you get out of it? As I say, you would get great satisfaction. It makes a reason to nature conservation. There's no way at the moment that £20.5 million is going to be spent on this sort of activity. So volunteers doing it does make a difference. And even just doing a little walk, spotting what you're or recording what you spot and sending them in, whether it's to the ERIC database or some other survey, is actually just contributing more information, and then we're still always increasing the clarity of the picture of species spread and distribution, and it can help protect your local green space and you just your well-being as well. Being out in nature, lots of us realise how important it is, and more people are realising that as well. So I just thought we'll have a quick look at just some bits of eider duck data. And these are the records on the left-hand side from 2019. Now, bird clubs will have their own records, much more comprehensive records, but we had about 85 records submitted in 2019. And then in 2020, that was halved for obvious reasons because people weren't getting out and about. But this project is a way to increase our knowledge about eider ducks. They're such an iconic species for Northumberland. So, hopefully you're thinking about joining in. To get to submitting your data, Eric, our team, helped to develop the recording app. But if you go to the Berwickshire and Northumberland Marine Nature Partnership website, you'll be able to find your way scrolling down that web page to the part where it says click here to record an item, and just follow that through and get on to the actual survey. If you get stuck with anything, get in touch with us. As I say, we help to develop the app, so especially Paul is good at helping if you are having trouble getting on. He helped me get sorted. And it's once you get over any little bits that you need to find out, it's quite easy to use. You're on the computer, and it looks like this. So they're just simply the fields to fill in, all the information to fill in and submit, and just follow that through and get those records into the survey, and we can find out about the eider duck distribution in our area. And doing these surveys, it just sometimes they answer questions, and sometimes they make more questions arise, really. I just took a screenshot of on the app. When you sort of have a look around on the computer, you can get to the map like this that shows you where there have been sightings. So this is just a section of it that I blew up just to have a closer look. And you can see this is St Mary's Island, so there are lots of sightings there. Obviously, it's a bit of a hot spot for people being out and about and walking around. But, it's like, oh, are there any eider ducks up here at the Wansbeck? Do they visit there? You have a wee look at the map. Have a wee look at the map and see, when we can get out and about. We've just got to, wait, obviously, till we can move around and get out for walks and exploring. But, are there eider ducks in these areas? Have they just not been surveyed? Has it not been spotted? Questions arise, and we would be, just doing this survey will be giving us more information about the areas that eider ducks use, and what sort of habitat they like, and distribution of males and females, all that sort of thing. Participating in this survey really does make a difference and will help our eider ducks. And they are, after all, such an iconic species for the area, and so beautiful. Let's get our sleeves rolled up and get ready to get out and do some survey work. And I'm just going to stop sharing and come back to the video so I can speak to you in person and encourage you to think about the upcoming season when we can get out and about. Explore the app just now, have a look on the website. Eider ducks are easily recognizable species. It's a great thing to do with families, and sometimes they're even quite close to shore. You don't need any massive special equipment. Binoculars are great if you've got them. I'm sure there'll be other people talking a bit more about recognizing them and spotting them. But get out there, get recording, and you will make a difference to wildlife. Thanks for listening.